Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're doing the what's next on Israil Madrimov, the newly crowned and undefeated WBA junior middleweight champ at 154 pounds, following a dominating fourth-round TKO victory over Magomed Kurbanov to capture the vacant title on the Joshua Nagano undercard that took place on March 8th on DAZN pay-per-view. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So this was a big and kind of surprising win. A lot of people, you know, were expecting a good kind of chess match between the two, between him and Kurbanov, and he just went out there and blitzed Kurbanov. He was just quicker, beating him to the punch. You know, he took Kurbanov's punch as well, and he just outworked him. And like I said, just some good hard shots landed, and he just kind of broke him down, hit from different angles. I mean, Madrimov looked good. I ain't gonna lie, he looked really good. So that win now makes him the WBA champion, and the big question is what's next for him. Now, the WBA usually doesn't do the guidelines of two mandatory. So basically, the title was vacant. He and Kurbanov fought for the vacant belt. Most of the time, they allow an optional defense. Now, if they were to do a mandatory defense, Vergil Ortiz Jr. becomes the top contender. I really believe that that's a possibility. Not even that he's the mandatory, because he's fighting at the end of April in his second fight this year. I believe that might just be an option anyway, just because he is highly rated by the WBA. And Eddie Hearn, that's an easy fight to make because Ortiz is with Golden Boy and Madrimov is with Matchroom, so it's an easy fight to make for DAZN. And Vergil Ortiz is a big name, and you know, they want to get a title on him at 154. So that'd be a good matchup right there. Now, of course, as we get into the top 10, Jermell Charlo is the champion of recess for the WBA right now. That would be, if Charlo wants to fight with Madrimov, he can have it. But we don't know when Charlo is planning on coming back to fight, or if he's going to come back at all to 154. We just don't know that. So right now, I have to say it's about 50-50, but I would lean towards the less likely because Madrimov doesn't have a big name. But you never know what Charlo might want to do. He might just want to get strapped and get a belt and go after, a shot he can get right away. So we'll see. Then there's Tim Tszyu, the reigning WBO champion. Tim Tszyu is fighting Sebastian Fundora this Saturday for two belts. He's probably going to have mandatories due, or he's going to have to face Terrence Crawford next. But I don't see him being able to unify belts before he has to deal with those. So I don't see this one. Then there's Brian Mendoza. Brian Mendoza's fighting Serhei Bohachuk for the WBC interim title this Saturday. I personally think he's going to lose that bout, but even if he were to win, I think Mendoza would be more inclined to fight a bigger name. But if, say, Mendoza were to lose and lose close, maybe the PBC and DAZN would work together to make a fight between the two. So we'll see. Then there's Sebastian Fundora. Well, Fundora's fighting the same position as Tim Tszyu to unify belts, and he's going to have to fight either Crawford or make a mandatory next. I do not believe he'd be allowed to unify belts again against a guy, who doesn't have a huge name like Madrimov. Then there's Erickson Lubin, another PBC guy. Tough fight to make. Good opponent to get, but a tough fight to make just because he's not, because he's with another governing body and another promotion, and he's not a mandatory fight either. Then there's Jesus Ramos, another PBC guy. Good matchup, but it's a tough fight to make given the promotions. A rematch with Kurbanov is not called for. No way it happens. He dominated him. No way. Then there's Michel Soro, a rematch with him. I would love to see him give Soro an opportunity, and I'll tell you why. Because Soro fought him and Kurbanov so tight in both fights, and he also fought Brian Castano years ago. I think Soro is overdue for a shot. Even if he loses, I think Madrimov should give Sorrell an opportunity, but Sorrell's not ranked in the top 15. I don't think these two guys are going to get back in the ring with each other. Then there's Yoenis Tellez, undefeated, fighter on the rise. He's fighting at the end of April. I don't think he's there for a title shot yet. I just don't think he'll be granted that, even though he is ranked in the WBA. He's not highly ranked, and I don't think a guy like Madrimov should consider this fight right now, just because Tellez is not a big name and he's a high-risk fight. Other than that, you know, Crawford Spence, if they wanted to fight, WBA highly rated, like I said, Virgil Ortiz, and James Metcalf, Takeshi Inoue, Radza Butayev would be a good one. But I really believe, and I'm gonna go out right now. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I'm predicting that he is gonna fight Virgil Ortiz Jr. next in his first defense of the title. Because again, I think Ortiz wants his title shot. I think he's hungry, and I think he wants to fight for the title, and I think he's gonna get the opportunity here. And it makes sense because it's an easy fight to make. So that's what I think is gonna happen. I think it's gonna be these two guys for the title on you know, later on in the year. I think Madrimov and Ortiz are going to fight, but we'll see. We'll see what else gets considered and what possibilities are there. So that's it. That's what I got. That's my what's next on newly crowned undefeated WBA junior middleweight champion at 154, Ismail Madrimov, following his dominating 4th round TKO victory in which he became the WBA champion at 154. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.